Have you ever been on a server or downloaded a map from the marketplace and thought, man, I wish I could have something like that in my world? Well, me too. I'm Mr. B-Rates1 and this is my brand new series, MC Map Faker. Come join me on this adventure as we try to make our very own map in Minecraft. And with the help of my silent assistant here, we are going to try and implement things for player counts, NPC support, managing lobbies, and much more. Please like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be kept up to date on the series. Hello, and we are back once again in our map world. And today we are going to be looking at expanding out from the spawn point and adding our first collectible into the game. That's right. Before we do anything, I think it's time to get the collectible in place because it's going to be the main thing of the game. It's going to be what everyone's going to be earning. And we need to make sure that's set up and everything else like that as well. So I want to get that on early in. But first of all though, we need to start moving away from this area. So, if you remember in the last episode, we built this area up with the spawn point where we got an entranceway to games and an entranceway to shops. Now, for the time being, we're going to leave the shops alone because there's no point in having a shop area if there's nothing to earn from to go to the shops in the first place. So we're going to start with the games area. In the last episode, I said I put these down. The shops and the games area, so I've put the commands in for them, but I've activated only one of them for the time being. So this is the actual command that I'm using here, and this is execute at A, then there's an X, Y, Z coordinates, a DX and a DY. I'll show you what that is in a moment. Tilde, 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 or squigglies, TP at S, squigglies, and then as you can see there it says minus 993. Now these last things on the end of these are just the coordinates that you want to send the player to. Now they can be anything that you like. Now for me, what I've done is, because I want to carry the motion of the player into the next area, I have made it so that this tunnel goes exactly to this point all the way over there at minus 993. Can't talk today, wow. Now what that means is that when you run through the sort of trigger that we've created there with this command block, it will carry the forward motion as you go through, but just teleport you 1,000 blocks instead. And I'll show you how that works. So it doesn't matter where we are, and there we go. As you can see, we're still in the same spot. We've not moved. We're still walking here, but we've now just gone 1,000 blocks. That's how it's done, and obviously we'll do exactly the same over there. Coming back, it's exactly the same command. It's hidden this time rather than it being on display up there. It's literally just underneath here. So same command again, it's just sending them back to where they were. So I think what I'm going to do then first is I'm going to get this area built up so that we've got something to work with. And then once that's done, we'll come back and we'll start taking a look at that collectible. You know, when you hear people say, oh, I did some mining off camera, and then you see some like crazy mining, I kind of did the opposite. I did some building off camera. I built quite a bit. I wanted to walk up like a roller coaster tycoon sort of style element, enter the theme park, and then you get to play all your games. Now, I've already built absolute loads of stuff. I'll have a quick glance at some of these things. I'm sure you've probably seen that. That looks really cool, actually. I saw a picture online with that. I don't know who the original person is. There's so many copies of it on the internet now. Who knows? But it looks really, really cool. So I thought I'd put that in as like a centerpiece. I've got the Map Faker logo sort of sat above the entrance. Now, I ignore the bounding box for now. I don't know if I'll keep that like that. I've just sort of saved it into a structure block so I can move it around and sort of experiment with it. But I'm not entirely sure yet. But the idea is that obviously the player will come down here, sort of see the entrance, and then enter the park. So over here in the distance then, I've set this out just to sort of show you guys and make it easier to show how it all works. So first of all, this, if you don't know how to get this in your game, there'll be a card on the end of this video that will link the video that shows you how to do this. You can literally just follow the instructions on there and you can bring those into your world. But essentially this is going to be the sign for the tokens in our theme park. It looks really cool. It's got a big T on it. It's blue. And it looks a bit different to the usual mine coin that you would normally sort of see, which you can put in as well though if you wish to do so. First of all then, what we are going to do is that we are going to use a scoreboard to manage how many tokens that people have. Now this is very easy then because you don't have to track player inventories, you don't have to use physical items, you can basically just do it in a command form and it'll keep a digital track of what they've got and when they take it and when they receive it and things like that. And it just makes it much easier as well for determining shops and things like that later on down the line. In this instance, then, what you need to do is you need to create what we call an objective scoreboard first. So in this instance, the command is scoreboard objectives add. Now you can call it anything you like. Now I've called it tokens because that's exactly what it is. Now in this case, this is the internal name. This is the name that any command referencing it will be used. It's dummy. It's the only scoreboard we can create at the minute, so it's always going to be dummy for the time being. And then this last one here is actually display name. So in this instance, I want to use the little icon as the display name as opposed to text because it looks cooler. So I've put that there and that appears there. So any reference to it on screen when it comes up will use this token here. Any reference to it in a command form will use the word tokens there. So the next thing to do is to add all the players. And we do that with this command. So this is execute at a. Now I've just done a radius of 10 here in this area, just purely because obviously I'm just using it for demo purposes, but you don't necessarily need that. Depending on what your setup is going to be, essentially what I'm going to do is that when players first enter the world, this command block here will actually be in the UFO, and when they come in, the player will get added to the scoreboard automatically as soon as they arrive. They won't know it, they won't see it, there will be no notification initially, but essentially that's what will happen. So let's just press this. Now again, you don't get any visual element, but you can see in the command block it says that we've now been added with 0. So that's our initial startup point. So we now have 0 tokens. Now if you're wondering what this guy's here for, so this is my little ATM machine. This is what's going to be dotted around the park where players can actually go up and check their balance. So in creative mode, you have to go into edit dialog to see what goes on. You click balance. You can see there on the action bar, we'll just bring that up again. We actually don't have any tokens at all. How would you then give the player a token? Well, that's easy. So from here, it'll be scoreboard players add at s tokens 1. Now what this is doing is that because we're just executing it from this command, this is doing obviously execute for the closest player, and then the player itself is giving itself a token. That's how you'll do it, but in some cases you might want to change that s to at p for the closest, or depending on what your setup is. But for the most part, this is how we're going to do it. Just scoreboard players add s tokens 1. Tokens being the name of the scoreboard, 1 being the value. And then to remove it, it's exactly the same thing again, but instead of doing add, it's just simply remove. Now, I've got no idea why that's in big capitals, but yes, so it is. So there we go. And that is how we're going to create a collectible. And all we're going to do is just use different variations of these two commands for the different games that we've got, depending on how we want them to win and what the conditions are and so on and so forth. I want to show you actually it working for different players and independent players. We'll just get my silent assistant to join us, and then we'll take a look how that works. And here he is. Here comes my silent assistant. Hello. Whee! So my silent assistant here, he's going to come up and he's going to bash this button for a little bit, and he's going to give himself a token every time he does it. So we're going to leave him to it for a little bit and see how many he can get in a few moments. Right, I think that's enough now. I wonder how much he's earned from all that bashing the button. Look at that, it's got poor hands and everything. Right, have a look at your balance. Let's see what you've got. What I'd like you to do now, Silent Assistant, is press this button here. There we go. Just check your balance again. You owe me 13 tokens. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.